निर्वाणम् आत्मानं बोधो हि केवलम्.
King Janaka approached the sage Ashtavakra, bowed deeply and sat upon the earth before him. For a long while neither of them spoke. The wind moved gently through the trees. Birds sang in the distance. Finally Janaka broke the silence. O sage, I have ruled kingdoms, studied the scriptures, listened to countless teachers, and practiced many forms of meditation. Yet my mind refuses to become silent. He lowered his eyes. Tell me, when does thinking end? Ashtavakra looked at him with great compassion and smiled. It ends the moment the thinker is seen as an illusion. Janaka looked confused. O sage, if this is true, then almost everything I have believed about myself begins to collapse. It must, Ashtavakra replied. Truth cannot enter while illusion remains protected. Janaka asked, then teach me how to stop my thoughts. Ashtavakra gently shook his head. You asked the wrong question. Janaka looked surprised. The wrong question? Yes. You have spent your whole life trying to control thoughts. You believe thoughts are your problem. They are not. Janaka became silent. Ashtavakra continued. Some teachers tell you to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Others teach methods to silence the mind. Some advise you merely to observe thoughts. All these may have their place, but almost nobody asks the one question that cuts through the root. Janaka leaned forward. What is that question, O sage? Ashtavakra looked directly into his eyes. Who is trying to stop the thoughts? Janaka remained speechless. The question echoed within him. After a long silence, he spoke again. O sage, is there truly someone inside me who thinks? Ashtavakra replied, do not answer too quickly. Look. When the next thought appears, did you create it? Did you decide its exact words? Did you choose the moment of its arrival? Janaka closed his eyes. Several thoughts arose, some about his kingdom, some about his family, some about enlightenment itself. He opened his eyes again. No, they simply appeared. Ashtavakra nodded. Exactly. Thoughts arrive by themselves. They appear exactly as clouds appear in the sky. The sky never invites them. They simply come, they simply go. Janaka asked, then why do I feel they are my thoughts? Ashtavakra smiled. Because another thought immediately appears. It whispers, this is my thought. Janaka frowned. So one thought claims ownership of another thought? Yes. And that tiny word, my, creates an imaginary owner. Janaka sat in deep reflection. O sage, is that owner real? Ashtavakra asked. Before the thought says my, where is the owner? Janaka searched carefully within himself. He remained silent. Minutes passed. Finally he answered, I cannot find one. Ashtavakra nodded. You never will. There are thoughts, but nowhere can a thinker be found. Janaka looked astonished. Then who has been struggling with the mind all these years? Ashtavakra answered. An image, a memory, a collection of ideas, but never a real self. Janaka asked, how can something unreal create so much suffering? Ashtavakra replied, have you never mistaken a rope for a snake in dim light? Janaka nodded, yes. Were you frightened? I was. Did the snake exist? No. But the fear felt real. As long as the illusion remained, as long as light appeared, what happened? The snake disappeared. No. Janaka looked puzzled. No? The snake never disappeared. It was never there. Only the illusion ended. Janaka's breathing slowed. Ashtavakra continued. This is exactly your situation. You are trying to remove a thinker, but the thinker is like the snake. It has never existed. What exists is only thinking. Janaka whispered, O sage, if there is only thinking, then who am I? Ashtavakra smiled once more. Good. Now the real inquiry begins. King Janaka remained seated in silence. The question echoed within him. If there is only thinking, then who am I? After a long pause, he raised his head. O sage, I look within, yet I find only thoughts. Whenever I search for myself, another thought appears. How am I discover who I truly am? Ashtavakra replied, by seeing clearly what you are not. Janak asked, and what am I not? You are not a single thought. You are not a memory. You are not a desire. You are not fear. You are not hope. You are not even the image you have carried of yourself since childhood. Janak asked, O sage, if I am none of these, why do they feel so personal? Ashtavakra smiled, because every thought arrives carrying a tiny word, I, my, mine. Without these words, thought would simply appear and disappear like the wind through the forest. Janak reflected upon this. Is the word itself creating the illusion? No. The word is only a symbol. The illusion is your unconscious belief in it. Ashtavakra picked up a dry leaf lying beside him. He released it into the breeze. The leaf drifted away effortlessly. Look at this leaf. Does it decide where the wind shall carry it? No, O sage. So too with thought. It appears, it moves, it disappears. But then another thought says, I am thinking. And at that very moment, suffering begins. Janak asked, why does suffering begin there? Because ownership creates resistance. The moment you believe this is my thought, you also believe I must control it. You begin choosing. This thought should stay. That thought should disappear. And from that division comes conflict. Janak lowered his eyes. I have spent my entire life doing exactly that. I welcomed pleasant thoughts. I feared unpleasant ones. I fought the dark ones. I pursued the bright ones. Ashtavakra nodded. And what has been the result? Janak sighed. My mind has only become more restless. Exactly. The controller is itself another movement of thought. It is one wave trying to command another wave. Janak looked toward the flowing river nearby. O sage, can a wave command the ocean? It cannot. Can one cloud organize the sky? No. Then how can one thought control all thoughts? Janak became silent. He saw the impossibility. After a while, he asked, then should I simply allow every thought to come and go? Ashtavakra replied, be careful. Even that can become another method. I'm not telling you to allow. I'm not telling you to reject. I'm asking you to see. Janak looked puzzled. What is the difference? When you allow, there is still someone allowing. When you reject, there is someone rejecting. When you simply see, there is only seeing. The words entered Janak like an arrow. O sage, is pure seeing free of the observer? Ashtavakra smiled. Now you are asking the right question. When there is complete seeing, where is the observer? Janak closed his eyes. A thought appeared, then another. He watched carefully. For a brief instant, there was only the appearance of thought. No owner, no controller, no effort. His eyes opened. Now stop for a moment. If this single sentence is true, then almost everything you have believed about yourself begins to collapse. You have spent your entire life trying to control your thoughts. Meditation techniques promise to quiet them. Psychology teaches you to replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Spirituality often tells you to observe thoughts. Self-help books encourage you to think differently. But almost nobody asks the question Ashtavakra silently places before King Janak. Who is trying to stop the thoughts? The moment this question enters deeply, something begins to shake inside. Perhaps the real problem was never thinking. Perhaps the real problem is the one who claims ownership of thought. Look carefully. A thought appears. Did you manufacture it? Did you decide its exact words? Did you choose its arrival? Or did it simply appear? Another thought comes, then another, then another. Thoughts arrive exactly as clouds appear in the sky. The sky never sends invitations. Clouds simply happen. Yet somehow the human mind performs an extraordinary trick. The thought appears and immediately another thought says, this is my thought. That tiny word my creates an entire imaginary universe. The moment a thought becomes my thought, a thinker is born. But was there ever a thinker before the thought claimed ownership, or was there only awareness? Ashtavakra is merciless. He refuses to help the ego becomes peaceful. He refuses to teach the thinker how to think less. Instead, he points directly towards something terrifying. There is no thinker, only thinking, just as there is rain without anyone manufacturing each drop. There is breathing without a breather. There is seeing without a seer. There is hearing without a hearer. There is simply thinking. Then where did the thinker come from? Memory, conditioning, language. Parents repeated your name thousands of times. Teachers called you someone. Society rewarded your personality. Gradually an image formed. That image began collecting experiences. My success, my failure, my pain, my future, my thoughts. Eventually, the collection itself started pretending to be a real person. This imaginary center now spends every day trying to control the movement of existence. It wants better thoughts, more spiritual thoughts, positive thoughts, pure thoughts, enlightened thoughts. One thought is trying to manage another thought. That is like one wave trying to organize the entire ocean. Impossible. This is why thinking never ends. Not because thoughts are powerful, because the controller is imaginary. Imagine standing beside a river. Leaves float downstream. Would you become exhausted trying to stop every leaf? Only someone completely confused would attempt such a thing. Yet every day millions of people sit beside the river of thought, desperately trying to stop each leaf. One memory, push it away. One fear, fight it. One fantasy, judge it. One desire, suppress it. Hours pass, years pass, entire lives pass. The river continues flowing. Then they conclude, my mind is too strong. No, the river is simply being a river. Perhaps this is why the greatest sages never promised a better mind. They pointed beyond the mind. Not because the mind is evil, not because thought is wrong, but because mistaking thought for yourself creates endless suffering. King Janaka asked, when does thinking end? Ashtavakra answered, the moment the thinker is seen as an illusion. Notice, he did not say thoughts disappear forever. He said the thinker is seen through. And once the imaginary owner disappears, thinker loses its prison. Thought becomes a tool instead of a master. Silence is no longer something you create. It is what has always been underneath every thought. Perhaps it has been waiting patiently your entire life. Not for your effort, not for your discipline, not for your struggle. Only one simple moment of seeing. Who is the thinker? Look carefully. Do not answer, just look.